Welcome to the Boardgamesnobs podcast. I'm Darth Plagiarism, where your words become mine.
You can't rip off.
All of your reviews are now mine.
Oh, you're the board game Bane?
Board Game Bane.
You stop. It's not on this. That's not your. That's not. You can't.
What is it? You were merely raised in the dark. No, wait. What is it I said? Those are my words.
The reviews. That's a nice.
I'll
review.
try to do better. Do or do not.
No.
Stop.
I came up with that. That's me.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. This is the podcast. It sounded like a really high pitched Bane. This is a podcast about board games, occasionally, sometimes, but mostly it's about us bantering back and forth. This is Jerry
Darth Banter.
and Gabi.
Hey.
And
Enrique. What's up, guys?
Okay, yes, Enrique is here, back by popular demand. How has your health been?
My health?
Yes.
Now, are we talking about just my one kidney?
No, I'm talking about the fact that you have, what did you described your vision
You only
as.
got one kidney?
He has a horseshoe kidney. He has 25 vision, right?
Oh, you mean
Wait.
my 5/5 vision?
Yes, it's 5 vision. I'm sorry, however he describes it. He's practically blind.
Is that really true?
Yes.
Like, I'm pretty blind.
Yeah, he had to have glasses.
Like me and Jerry were like driving down the road. It's like, how good is your eyesight? Like, it's not good.
It's bad. Like, I don't think he's going to.
Can you get a license?
I don't know.
I don't believe I would
You don't
be
have a
able to.
permit yet
Do you want a license?
Yes.
to kill.
Oh.
Will you get killed?
License to kill.
What do you think?
No, that wasn't.
What is it?
That was Dalton.
Well, I don't know Timothy Dalton's accent.
He didn't have much of an accent.
He was just British.
He was just British.
English.
Hard merge.
There you go.
We're going to be talking about nations, the board game.
Oh, yeah.
Britain is a nation. isn't it?
Discussing many
United-
nations.
Yes. But you're blind.
Whatever.
You're practically blind.
Yes.
And a horseshoe kidney. What does that mean?
It's just kidneys shaped like a horseshoe.
Is that bad?
Horseshoes are
No,
lucky.
it like
I'm going to take your kidney for good luck. But he's only got one.
He's just got the one.
it's just.
I think
weird.
it's a horseshoe kidney. Is that what it's called?
That's what I've been told.
Who's told that? But are you just simply repeating what I've told you? Because sometimes I just say
No,
things.
like I'm
Did a physician tell you this?
like my mother.
And your mother's not a physician.
I don't
But
care.
she told you, but she talked to the physician.
Yes.
Okay.
Do they check your renal functions regularly?
No.
This feels like
What?
like this
I
is
feel
not.
bad.
You're not Dr. Drew.
You drink way too much Dr. Pepper for
that's
one
That
kidney.
is his physician.
Yeah.
I got one doctor.
Yeah.
I don't think people up north know what Dr. Pepper is. They have Pibb. They have Mr.
yeah,
Pibb.
yeah, Dr. Pip and all.
I think it's slowly made its way up there.
Dr. Pepper's not known to those in Britain, though, is it? The English,
don't
the
ask
British,
me.
the Santa Marians.
Don't
They
ask
do
me.
not understand what Dr. Pepper is. Dr. Pepper is basically spicy Coca-Cola. It's just like prune juice.
It's good.
But
It's my drink of choice
I
as
don't
far as
like
sodas.
it. I am drinking Tin Cup, and we were out of Coke, and I had to put Dr. Pepper in it.
Yep.
And so this
Why
is...
are you putting drinking soda in it now?
I wanted some sugar-ishness to it.
to get all hyped up.
And it was not... This is not great.
Did you hear they're going to try and redo Home Alone?
Yeah.
Oh,
Macaulay
no.
Culkin is old.
Are they going to put him in it?
Surely not.
No.
Here's what they should do. Here's an idea. If you're listening, producers, I've got the-
I'm sure they are.
I have several.
Looking at you, Kevin Feige.
I have several movie ideas. All right,
Okay.
Home Alone. Instead of making a remake of it just straight across, have it be that Macaulay Culkin's child character, he's grown up now, he's fallen on hard times, and he is now the criminal.
No.
And he is trying to break in. And it's like he's trying to break into homes.
He knows all their tricks.
And he is trying to break into the home of one Joe Pesci. And
Joe
Flip
Pesci.
the tables.
Joe
Okay.
Pesci's grandchild, follow me on this,
Granddaughter.
granddaughter.
There you go.
Better. Who would, yes.
That way they can fall in love at the end.
No. His granddaughter's got to be a child. We'll have 11.
Be a meat
Who's
cute.
11? Who plays 11 on Stranger Things?
Millie Bobby Brown.
There you go.
Millie Bobby Brown. Millie Bobby Brown.
She can be the child actor.
She's kind of old though. I mean, Macaulay Culkin was like 6, 7, 8,
No, he
9.
wasn't. He's like 10, 11.
Well, she's like a teenager.
Well, I don't know.
She's grown.
I didn't think this through.
You did not think this
But
through. Kevin will not be listening to this.
Well, Macaulay Culkin, he can't be. Beggars can't be choosy. He hasn't had a lot of acting jobs. Since then.
I think that's by choice.
Really?
I think
I
he's
thought
like-
it was by drug abuse was what kind of knocked him in the head
Easy.
there for a
I
while.
don't know.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know. Those are your words, Jerry,
in
not
rehab, wasn't he?
mine.
Did he go to rehab?
Oh, rehab. No.
What's that?
It was just.
You never heard that song?
No, I haven't.
You never heard
from
rehab.
Rihanna?
No, I haven't. Gabi has started his new. What was that podcast you made me listen to that was comedy, but it was improv?
Comedy Bang Bang.
I hated it.
How
it was like
dare
pulling
you.
teeth. So basically, Gabi was like trying to tell me that I should listen to this comedic podcast. It's basically comedians who improv and get into characters.
Yes.
Which I don't find humorous at all. But Gabi thinks it's the funniest thing ever.
I love it.
So Gabi sits around, and half the time that you're around him, he goes into some character. And so half the time when you arrive to his house, he sometimes practices his material like Michael Scott style of having this Bane voice from The Dark Knight, and it has something to do with plagiarism. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But it's
I
good.
love Comedy Bang Bang.
I don't like it. Enrique doesn't even know what
I like
comedy is.
improv comedy, though.
I don't like improv.
Have you ever watched the improv live? It is. It's one of those things where you have to be there, but like
Hence the live
or
part.
like what's that? What had Drew Carey and all them guys?
Living
Whose
Color.
line is it anyway?
Oh, that was who's that was
In Living
when you said-
Color?
I was thinking Jim
Oh,
Carrey. I'm
not
sorry, I'm
Jim
thinking Jim Carrey. Yeah, there's somebody whose career. What do you think about them redoing Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh God!
Well, they
With human teeth.
Do you know who Sonic the Hedgehog
No,
is?
you know they
Yeah, he
like
doesn't. Yeah, they're gonna redo
like
it.
they're
Sonic the Hedgehog is older than
Didn't say
you.
nothing.
obviously.
You know that little.
Obviously,
But I
thank you.
understood him.
I know.
Understood him. What?
Yeah, like
Have you played Sonic the Hedgehog
He's a gamer.
on Genesis?
Surely,
On Sega Genesis, the original.
surely as a gamer.
if
on
we're
the
talking-
original
now,
console.
Okay, now if we're talking about like original,
You have not
OG.
played the Sega console.
no.
Good
He
Lord,
has
no. He wasn't born when the Sega console existed.
I'm just saying.
Now the
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast.
I owned
No,
the
you didn't.
Dreamcast. Dreamcast was one of the best consoles.
Was that football game not great?
That was the best one, and they discontinued it.
Yes. Terrible idea.
I have played. I have
Let it-
played
let Enrique
probably. If I remember from my memory, I have played.
If you remember from, that's where most people remember from.
yeah,
From
basically.
the memory.
If I
From my
remember
memories-
from my big toe,
I have
but you know,
played-
big toe.
I have played.
Well, let me tell you.
Will you stop? You made me stop talking. Will you let him talk, please? Please.
I have played parts of some.
That's some good stuff.
Like, I think.
Sorry,
it was-
go ahead.
It was probably like early 2000s, like early 2010s.
Okay. Weird.
Where
Early 2000s, early 2010s. Just a decade difference. No
Yeah.
big deal.
yeah, maybe. But I think they came out with a couple of versions of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think
I was a Mario man.
Are we still talking about Sonic?
yes,
Okay, moving on.
Mario or Sonic?
Mario.
That's what I'm talking
Mario.
about.
Don't even bring
okay,
that
that's what
up.
I'm talking about.
Now-
Mario 64 was insane.
I actually remember that.
Mario Kart 64.
Mario Kart is on like its 8th
Now-
generation on the Switch, and it is still as good as it was.
Love it.
Love it.
I like Mario.
You don't know. No, you're not.
What,
a
Mario
fan.
64?
You don't know.
I
You don't
played
know
it
Mario.
once, maybe
You don't. Did you have an N64?
in 64, like the console.
Yes.
No,
GoldenEye?
Yeah.
What you talking about?
Run around with. I was always Ob Job. Running around whacking people.
I think I was always, who's the guy with the
Jaws.
Jaws?
See, I just knew immediately that that'd be
Jaws.
who you pick.
I know, it was good.
Ah.
Then they made the other one. It was like either the second or third one. You could have that self-guided missile, and you could become the missile. It was kind of a cheat, like nobody liked it. But you could launch that missile from the other side of the map, and it was guided. And it was like from its point of view, and you would be the missile, and you could just guide it right in there and blow them up. Oh, people hated it when you did that. It was so awesome.
that does actually sound.
You could ride that little cable car all the way to the other side of the map, launch that missile. Oh, it's good stuff.
This podcast is brought to you by. Wait a minute, it's not brought to you by anything because we don't have any sponsors. This is actually just a podcast about board gaming. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Amazon Prime, Hulu, whatever. And email us, though. Email us at boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. I have some emails I need to go over here in a little bit.
Okay,
But
I want to say one thing
say it.
in regards to people that might be listening.
Okay, say it.
So I was perusing Twitter,
Yes.
as I sometimes do, and I happened to notice somebody said they had just listened to a podcast discussing Porta Nigra. And I was like, uh-oh.
Was that not... Did we not completely trash that game?
Maybe it was another podcast.
It could have been.
But I'm not sure how many
Perhaps there was another podcast.
how many are not reviewing Porta Nigra right now.
Yeah. It's
But
old.
thankfully, and this is what I appreciated, he didn't name us.
They didn't call us out.
He didn't call us out. He simply said they called it the worst game ever. But hey, he said a podcast called it the worst game ever. That's their opinion. It's their personal opinion. I respect that. He was very, very nice about it. And I wanted to say
He was civil.
he was very civil. And I want to say thank you, sir.
Yes.
Because he could have outed us on Twitter and then everybody, because he's got lots of followers. He's
More
a board.
followers
Yeah.
than us. He's actually a designer.
And so,
So it's like he actually knows what he's talking about.
oh, yes, more than we do. So then I was like thinking, so then I re-listened to our podcast. I was like, wow, what did we say? And it was mostly me. And I'm sitting there just spewing about this game. I'm like, yeah, I really didn't like that game. I really came down hard on it. So then, but he was like, but that's their opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinions.
Yeah.
Very civil. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much for being
what
civil
are you
to
doing?
us.
Let me ask you, are you rolling
I
back your
wanted to
opinion?
say, I wanted to say thank you, sir.
So you're doubling down
for
on
being
your opinion.
civil.
I'm trying to be
I
inflammatory
do want
here.
to say, okay, these are our opinions.
Yes,
so
they are.
There are
We
opinions.
don't plagiarize our opinions.
And you know what they say about opinions.
Yes.
Everybody's got one. They all stink.
Yes.
We are far from professional.
No, we would never claim to be professional.
Never
Have
claim
we?
to be professional?
Have we?
You may have.
You may have.
I'm
Obviously.
Sometimes I say things.
But I play simply on emotion.
Mainly.
I'm all emotion in gaming.
Pretty much.
But if I'm playing a game and I don't get I've discussed this
That
and a few
tingly
other
feeling.
If I don't get that tingly feeling in a game within a few minutes, we will stop.
Love and feeling.
I will stop. Jared will stop. That's what I was going to discuss. We have stopped
Love and feeling.
several games mid-play. Do you think a game should be played all the way through no matter what?
Do you think a movie should be watched all the way through no matter what? Name one film for which the first hour of it or so was just completely trashed but then redeemed itself.
Well, I'm about to say, it'd have to go with the caveat that the first half was not absolutely atrocious. For instance, I've seen many movies that start off slow.
Right.
Start off boring, but not bad. If they start off too awfully bad, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a bad movie. Sharknado, you know what you're in for. Yeah. But some movies I have quit. Have you ever walked out of a movie in a theater?
Yes.
I have. It was a Jason Statham movie, and it was like medieval and it was like Power Rangers effects. It was bad. I walked out of that one.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I can't.
I walked out of.
Sorry about that, Eric.
I walked out of Wing. I think no, it was
Wing Commander.
There was something Wing Commander had.
Yes.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
You walked out of
and
that?
Matthew Lillard.
How dare you?
I did not like that movie.
It was bad.
It was bad.
It ruined Freddie Prinze Jr.'s career. Not even
I walked
Scooby-Doo
out
could
of
bring
those.
it back.
So no, I did not finish those. So a game that if it doesn't give me that feeling I'm looking for, I will stop it. Now, we should say, but also I guess that kind of goes without saying. These are our feelings, our opinions. So just because I don't like something doesn't mean other people aren't going to like it.
It's a very nice response.
So again, I just want to say, if you're listening to this one, sir, thank you for being very civil to me, us on
It wasn't us.
your Twitter.
I like Porta Nigra. I've changed my mind. It's an excellent game. All those cards and the art quality.
Okay.
No.
Other than that, though.
Other than that, no, I fell asleep. But that doesn't matter because interestingly enough, when it comes to board games and our opinions about board games, I don't feel like we offer a. Well, let me reel this in. When we think of reviewers, essentially you find a board game reviewer that you feel like their opinion aligns with yours, and you tend to trust that reviewer, correct?
Right.
That's kind of the reason why we started this podcast, is that we were irritated that none of the reviewers seemed to
We
like.
trust no one.
We trusted no one. Everybody burnt us. And so it's...
There are a few people we highly respect.
Yes,
though.
that we tend to... If
Let's name them.
the stars align... Like, for instance, I'll say, like, Shove and Sit Down, I don't align with them at all.
You don't align with them,
I
but you
enjoy
love
their
them.
videos.
You like
I
their
don't
videos.
like them. What's that?
No pun included.
They tend to be ones that I have bought games on their recommendations, and I have not been disappointed.
I love, no pun included.
There's been a few...
If you watch their videos, they can break a game down, and this is why I don't have this ability. They can break every aspect of the
What's
game.
Ethica's wife's name? She
Elaine?
Yeah, she has Elaine. She has that ability.
Yes, they can break a game down and describe it and how it makes them feel and the mechanism of the game and how it affects. Like they can just analyze a game thoroughly and relate it to other things that you're like, oh, okay, I understand that, and they have an excellent review.
And I recently bought, and it's not here yet, Underwater Cities, which is a game I have zero interest in based on their review. And so when that gets in, we'll be doing a review of that as ourselves. But there are certain reviewers that we tend to look at and go, oh yeah, they have not led us astray too often. There have been some reviews, like with no pun included. They liked Treasure Island, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that game was terrible. And so,
in our opinion, the game was terrible.
we don't have to preference everything with our opinion. We're not declaring it fact. There are certain facts, though, objective facts about board games that you can make. And that's my point, is that I think most reviewers aren't offering an objective review. They're offering their opinion.
Right.
There are some objective reviews in terms of like the game's production quality or its rule book and things of that nature that are evident, but for the most part, it's just people's review. And so I don't get bent out of shape when somebody doesn't agree with me. Like, I realize that probably 90% of the board gaming community doesn't agree with my opinion because they're not snobbish.
Well, I guess what I'm saying
And
is
thus,
you
because of
shouldn't
that,
say
they're not as good as me.
like you shouldn't say
I'm better than them is what I'm trying to say. Why are you interrupting me?
I'm telling you what you should say.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I take that all
And
back.
I have taken issue with this before, but like people say, they'll degrade, they'll talk bad about a game all the way through.
May have come across pompous there.
You are very pompous. You don't just come across that way. You are that way.
Continue.
Oh, sorry. Did I hurt your feelings that you don't have?
I have.
Yeah, exactly. I love that I can say almost anything to Jerry. In fact, I hollered at him earlier while we were gaming.
You did, didn't you?
yes,
Raised
because you
your
were
voice.
mean.
I will admit, and I will say this. Let this be known.
Oh, I'm glad I'm recording this.
Let this be known.
Here we go.
And Chris, Captain America, will probably back me up on this.
No, he won't.
I am not the easiest person to get along with sometimes.
It's all the time.
Oh,
I tend to be easily cantankered.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when drinking.
And what are you talking? Cut his mic. I tend to be a little bit irate, and I have zero patience when I'm teaching a game. Okay,
Good thing you're not a doctor. You'd be broke.
Zero patience. I get it. I'm not laughing because it's not funny, but I get it.
I won't be stealing that one. You're allowed that one, Gary. I will not take that one.
Stop it.
That's not me.
So, that being said,
Go back to the corner, Darth.
I think that I have no clue where we're at. You've derailed my thought
Wait.
pattern to such a degree.
You were talking about your lack of patience
I
when
have
you
a
game.
lack of patience, and I think I have a lack of patience with most board game reviewers as well, because most board game reviewers will not trash a game and deter people from it like we do.
Well, I'm just saying.
And because we're not reviewers, it doesn't make us any difference.
It made me think that I know we don't. Obviously, this is the Board Game Snobs podcast, so these are our opinions. take them as you will. But there are some people that are like, no one should play this game.
Right.
Listen, if you listen to us on a regular basis, know what we like, what we don't like, then when we say we really don't like this game, then you can say, I probably won't like this game either.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say, or I'm going to be conscious. It has made me conscious that I would not say no one should play this game. Because that's just not the case with it. I love the Fast and the Furious. You don't like those movies.
Okay, so what you're saying is that we should never say no one should play this game. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying.
Maybe that is.
I'm filing that away for later. I'm going to hard merge that here in a minute. Get ready. Let's move on and talk about a game that I completely and utterly enjoy. Like, often.
Everyone should buy this game.
Often when
it's hard to be nice, but yet have strong opinions.
I love strong opinions.
Because people get
I love people
some
with
people
strong.
Might get upset at strong opinions. This is what's fundamentally different between me and you. As you have said, you don't care.
I don't care, and I love strong opinions.
I am on the opposite. I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum in that I don't want no one to not
your
like me.
Your opinion is about as weak as Maxwell House coffee.
How dare you?
Yes. But I'm just saying is that I like people who have strong opinions. If somebody has a strong opinion, there is something that has occurred that has gotten them to that place, and I like strong opinions. Okay. I like it even more when somebody can articulate that to me.
I can't do that.
I am about to articulate to you why this particular board game that we just played. What?
Okay, but I've decided
why are you
our
thing.
At me?
Our thing.
Me and you.
Tell me
I've decided our thing.
What is our thing?
You know, you don't. You may not know, but you might know.
I know
in football,
everything.
You have an analyst.
What is a football? Like soccer?
In watching football, you have an analyst. That's usually the guy.
Football.
He's the guy that's like the Tony Romo.
Big Beckham.
He knows what play they're running. He can explain why they're running this play, what this play is supposed to accomplish. He knows the game, the X's and the O's of the game. Then you have the guy that's the color commentator. He's just there to add this, add that. Like Tony Romo might say, "Oh, they're fixing to run this play," and then the other guy say, "Hey, that's number 52's Billy Bob. He went to the restaurant the other." Like he just adds a little flair.
Are you saying we're color commentaries?
No, I'm saying you're the analyst.
Oh, okay.
Because you understand that stuff more.
So I'm John Madden, and you're the old guy.
I don't know who I am. I'm somebody else.
You're the guy that Harry Carey.
Hey, everybody.
No. I want to talk about nations.
Let's do it.
Because Britain is a nation, as is many nations. Nations.
I was Persia.
Not the dice game. We're talking about Nations, the board game.
Dice game is good though.
The dice game.
Everyone should buy it.
I enjoy the dice game. Nations, the board game, was something that Gabi was just bent on us purchasing because I have owned Through the Ages for quite some time. I bought Through the Ages because it was designed by Vlado Chvátil, who happens to be a designer that I halfway enjoy. He did Robinson Crusoe. I enjoyed it. He makes some very heavy games. And two, a particular reviewer, John Gets Games, who we particularly liked, really loved the game. Like
this is number one.
Like this is number one. So, of course, we thought since John likes it, we like John, we will probably like Through
We
the
didn't
Ages.
mention John. He's also one of the guys we
love
respect.
John.
His playthroughs are excellent.
He does some excellent playthroughs, and he's very clear and concise. The one thing that he was not clear and concise about Through the Ages is that it was dull, boring, and convoluted. So,
that's like many people's number one.
I know. And so here it goes.
In our opinion.
You don't have to do that. Through the Ages was like number one for a while on Board Game, the hot list. And it was a game that has had 2 iterations and everybody loves it.
It's still in the top 10, ain't it?
So let me explain to you why you should never buy nor play Through the Ages. And I will do that by simply describing to you Nations. They took the mechanics of Through the Ages and went and asked themselves, the 4 different designers whose names I cannot pronounce, by a company whose name I cannot pronounce. How can we take this design, make it accessible, streamline it, and make it straightforward for the consumer? And that's what they did with Nations. And to somewhat bring this back around a little bit of what we've talked about in board games before, whenever I play a game, I often rate it in my mind of, this game's all right. Someone might like it, but it's not really for me. I'm probably going to get rid of it. Or, yeah, I'll keep a hold of it. I see why it should be in my collection. Or it might be one that I think, yeah, this is good. I really like this, but it's not something that I think is great. A game that I think when I play it, could this be my top 10? Could this be in one of my top 10 games? Rarely do I play a game that I think this game is so good that it's going to be on my list, that when I make my top 10 list up next year, is this game going to be a contender? Nations is a contender. And here's why. Nations, the not the dice game.
I wish I could find my way around Board Game Geek like I used to.
What? Oh, did you? Oh,
it's redesigned. Where's the top 100?
I like the new photo. I like the new logo. I'm literally the only person that likes the logo. It looks like a flame. Nations is a game, much like Through the Ages, where you are buying cards from a tableau out in front of you. And in Nations, there's this 3 different rows with all these columns, and they cost either 3 gold, 2 gold, or 1 gold. Gold being the main resource for which you buy cards. You buy those cards, you put them on your player board, and your player board just basically represents your nation.
And that way it's very similar to the dice game.
It's very similar to dice game, very similar Through the Ages.
Through the Ages, number 4 on BGG.
Right. Nations, where is it? Look for it.
Let me see where Nations is at.
When you buy a card in Nation, it's going to be either an advisor card, which is a famous person throughout history that gives you an ongoing bonus that you place off to the side, or a production.
Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
Nations is 112.
112.
Wow.
Through the Ages
it's not
is
even,
number 4.
It's not even in the top 100.
Okay, let me put this to you. Nations.
I wish we could. Go ahead, and then I will say what I want to say.
Okay. With Nations, you can buy production cards. You put them in one of the 5 production slots, and they're either producing stone or food, or they're a military card. And so you have limited space. So you have to decide, am I going to produce a lot of food and use that food to feed my workers, or I'm going to produce stone, which you utilize this stone to put workers to work on these certain production cards, or are you going to use military, which you use to go out and claim colonies, and colonies give you a lot of bonuses, and your military strength also depicts who's going to be in first place and who's going to be in last place, and if there's a war,
this is the part of the podcast you can skip through.
It's great. You don't want to skip this because it's great. Nations is great. I have played Through the Ages on
the app.
I've played it in real life. It is a difficult game.
You played it in real life?
Yes, I've played it in real life. I set it up and tried to do the solo variant that they had on BGG.
Gosh.
I tried to teach Enrique. Enrique almost choked to death on one of the cubes.
Why did you try to eat it?
Because he does that. He mistook the blue translucent cubes as a lodgings.
A halls.
Do you like halls?
When I have a sore throat.
I like fisherman's
I like walking down them. Well, I mean, they're useful. What would you do without halls? There'd just be doors everywhere.
Just doors everywhere?
On the outside of a building?
That's not what I meant.
There would be doors on the outside of a building with just rooms. So you'd have to go outside, go the next door to go to your bedroom if there were no halls. Right?
Who thought up halls? That's Arsenio. Hey. Whatever happened to him?
They're making Coming to America 2.
Is he going to be in it?
Oh.
You don't even know what that is.
I know what
What is it?
It's with
I think everybody
with Fievel the rat. It's not old. It upsets me when you refer to anything that's old, because basically you're saying it's greater than 10 years
Eddie
old.
Murphy, Arsenio, James Earl Jones, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Is he out of jail? No, he was in prison for tax evasion.
I think he's been out for a little while.
Has he?
Yeah. It's an African prince and his servant coming to America, and if I remember,
Hence the name.
Yeah, basically.
I'm moving us back on track and talking about nations because Africa reminds me that it is a nation, so I'm going to hard merge this. I love Nations. It is a game that might even be in my top 10. I think Nations deserves to be in the number 4 spot on the BGG list and not on 112. And I think that Through the Ages should fall significantly. Here's why. It took me 15 minutes. It took me 15 minutes to teach Gabi that game. 15.
Although I did mess up the first round really bad.
It took me 15 minutes to teach Gabi the game, not the strategy. Enrique, who I had played the game with several times before, haven't played it in a long time, he instantly picked up and remembered everything with the game. 15 minutes to taught that game. It took us 2 hours to play a 3-player game. It was smooth. It was elegant. We were engaged the entire time. There was meaningful decisions. It felt different. Everybody was going through a different strategy. It was tight. Even though you messed up.
I messed up.
The scores were relatively close. It was fun. It was interactive. We didn't even play with the advanced and expert cards. We didn't play with the asymmetrical different sides of the board. Replay value of this game is out by this game.
Yes, this is why I like these type of games, Nations over, say, Star Wars Outer Rim. In Nations, every decision you make is critical. You either need this, you need that, or it's going to cost you food, it's going to cost you a rock. Everything is just so tight.
Cost you a rock.
Star Wars Outer Rim, literally, there was a point.
That's like on the. Let's go ahead.
I had been attacked in Star Wars Outer Rim.
For some reason, I imagined Dwayne Johnson being like something that you had to expend when you said that. It made me laugh. Did you watch the new one?
Yes.
Yes, you did. You watched Crockett and Tubbs? Or Hall and Oates. What was the show called?
Hobbs and Shaw.
That's what I said. Hall and Oates. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it was good.
It was good?
Yeah.
You saw it?
Yeah.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I want to see it.
Why haven't you seen it? What have you been doing with your life?
Working.
Who works?
Us. Us. We can't all have one kidney.
But my point was, Star Wars Outer Rim, me and DJ were in a game, and
who's DJ?
He had defeated me, or whatever it is, where I fought somebody and I was knocked down, lost my stuff. So there was basically literally a turn I did nothing. I accomplished nothing. Or there's turns where you're just traveling. I need to go over there to drop off this cargo. So you just spend your turn doing nothing but traveling. Games like this, though, everything you do is engaging, and it's going to cost you, or you need to be calculating. It's just, you got these cards in your hand, or you got the cards on the tableau, you got the cards out in the general market or whatever it's called. You have your resources, and they're tight, and you don't want to spend them. What's the word for badly?
War, conflict, raids.
Like, for instance, I bought the army, the battle card in the last round, thinking there was a raid card out. I didn't pay attention. I thought there was a raid card. I messed up really bad. I messed up in the beginning. I messed up at the end. But it doesn't matter because it was still just like I was on edge the whole time playing this game.
It was. And it's the tension of you can make...
Tension.
Yes. It's
good word.
You can make one decision at this time before it goes around the table. So am I going to spend money and buy a card? Or am I going to take this time to put my workers out on the various cards and activate them?
2013.
Yeah, it's old by board game standards. And again, it's over 5 years old.
1 to 5 players.
And yes, and so that's another thing. This has a very pleasant solo variant to it. Which I don't think that Through the Ages particularly any good. It was straightforward, a game that I can teach quickly, and it was smooth, and it was really, for it just being a card game that has been adapted and kind of fleshed out to be more than just a card game, the replayability of it, this game is good. It is good. For it being as, in terms of board games, being an older board game and being one that I don't see talked about as much. Nations is a great game. And matter of fact, I would even go to the point of saying that if you're looking for a civilization it's a civilization game. It's an engine builder. It's engine building. You're buying these certain cars and you're managing your resources and you're trying to get your engine going. Just the perfection of seeing the cards that you've bought interact with each other and knowing that you've covered all your bases. It is a very satisfying game. The rule book is good. The only thing that I wish, if they would do a second edition and kind of update the artwork a little bit, and not make it so drab, and there are some weird graphic design choices, but other than that, Nations, it is good. It's really good.
It's got an asymmetrical side that we never play with because we like to all be on the same level.
We like equality here.
Like, I would like to do that one day where we
Play the other side.
Yeah, play the other.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, I don't.
More challenging.
Yeah, everybody would start off something. This is my only kind of ticky-tacky thing.
With Nations?
Yes.
What's ticky-tacky?
I think if you go with military, I think it has a slight advantage because you can declare the war, and if you're ahead, you get all these benefits, and it hurts the other people. They lose victory points all the way through. Come towards the end, it seemed like a bunch of those raid cards came out.
I can't help it that both of you decided to be Switzerland.
I tried to be peaceful.
And peaceful.
I tried.
In this game, if you up your military, it allows you to colonize and it allows you to be in first place and it gives you some other advantages. The other players can have their culture increased so far that the negative effects of a militaristic country going to war doesn't affect them. Gabi and Enrique both, for some reason, completely ignored the military track.
I started off doing military first.
I can't help it. You back down.
Then you passed me, and I backed down.
And then
So
you
I
came
was,
after me.
well, I was wondering. I was thinking that about this game. I would like to play it several more times and see if there's a way, if you can win without doing military.
Okay, next game we play. But I will completely ignore military. I won't buy one card.
Okay.
And I will attest to the fact that I believe this game is so well balanced that one can win or at least come very close to winning.
And you also have to take account that there were a lot of military cards that were
correct
coming out.
Yeah, correct.
So,
and here's the thing: I'd play that game again back to back. I loved it so much.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
It's good. It is really, really good. And so that is my suggestion to our fans: that if you are looking for a very meaty, in-depth, but yet streamlined and surprisingly for what it is, simple to teach, Nations, way, way better than Through the Ages.
I've never played Through the Ages. I wanted to play it. It was hellacious to learn. So I never did. And I mean, there's a point of entry there that I just couldn't get past. So Nations to me is better in that way.
It's approved.
Oh, definitely.
Unequivocally.
BGS
That means
approved.
That means you agree with us, Enrique.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, all right. You know what? We got to cut it short. We're going to cut this short because we're at 40 minutes and plus. I don't want to feel like talking about one of the worst games I've played in a long time right now because I'm on a high of playing one of the best games I've played in a long time. No, stop. We're going to talk about this here in a moment. Don't even say the name. The name that will not be mentioned.
For this shall not be mentioned?
For shall not be mentioned. Other than that, let me go to the fan mail.
Oh, okay.
Give me a second.
Okay.
People send us emails. I like it when people send us emails.
Me too.
I know you like it.
It boosts my morale.
No, I don't care about it, but it makes you happy. So since it makes you happy, it thus makes me happy. There was an individual that emailed us regarding... this was somebody who just said, you guys are great. Keep on making the podcast and drinking. Nicholas. Okay. Well, we will, Nicholas. Thank you for that.
Done and done.
I think it's don't you think it's irritating that when people have names, people shorten it? Like when I see Nicholas, I automatically want to call that person Nick. But that's not their name. That's just is that appropriate? Like, I know I call you Gabi.
That's what I've went by my whole life.
Real name's Gabriella.
Gabrielle.
That's what I said. It's exactly what I said. Lindsay says, "Hi, Jerry and Gobby. Thinking about Western themed games after the recent podcast. Have y'all played Dice Tower? Dice Town. Who's Dice Tower?
You been playing Dice Tower?
Have y'all played
Dice Tower would be a good name for a podcast.
Y'all. She put y'all. I like
Aw.
y'all.
I think, Lindsay,
I think
not that you have to tell us, but where are y'all at? Because I've looked at their Instagram and I think they're like in the southern region here somewhere.
We're Southern. It's probably more of a family game, and I can't exactly recommend it because every time I want to play it, well, most others don't. But everyone enjoys one stupid game, right? And then she says, "Anywho, just wondered if you had tried it. We have not." Okay, yeah, that's cool. We'll have to give that a try. Chris LaFleur, the brother of
yes.
Vlad. He sent us an email. "Hey guys, awesome. Inish sounds like a game that is perfect for the podcast. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And Twa as well. It's not Troy's, it's Twa.
Wow.
And we played Twa. And
That'll
next
be in the
podcast,
next
we're going to
podcast.
talk about Twa. And it does have some dull artwork. That's Valdy's brother, Christopher Jorgensen.
Yes.
Yes.
If you can, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or leave a comment in Podbean. If you can't do any, if you've already done those things, this is the thing. We have several hundred listeners at this point.
Like 100.
Just a few reviews on Apple. So if you listen on Apple, if you leave us a review, it helps us. It helps our visibility. That way more people can hear our voices
I'd rather
in their
not.
ears.
I'd rather not. I'm the
That's
complete
true.
opposite because
That's
I don't want
true.
us to be. I like that we're niched because Nietzsche. What's it? I like the fact that not many
We're
people
small.
know about us because
They
the
don't know who
more
we are.
popular you get, the more you have to watch what you say. Brian, who is Soul Train's friend, said he just started listening to the podcast. He asked our opinion.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends about me. And he just sent us a nice email. That's really nice, Brian. Oh, Paul, I'm gonna tell you something, man.
Paul Ruane.
Yeah, Paul cost me money. Paul sent us an email. I keep saying Paul.
You've said Paul several times.
He sent us an email about Pipeline.
Oh, yes.
Pipeline looks terrible.
Yes.
I bought Pipeline because
Yes.
Paul said that I should
Funnily enough, right after
funnily.
funnel it through the pipeline.
Yes.
Right after Paul sent us that email about his opinion, no pun included, like the next day posted their review.
I bought it because
Jerry
of Paul.
bought it.
I bought it because of Paul. I didn't buy it because of
I know you did. You had bought it actually before the review had come out.
I trust Paul. Anyways,
So we'll be getting. What else did you buy? You bought Pipeline or something else?
Underwater Cities.
Underwater Cities. I've been wanting to get that.
And
The Terraforming Mars.
it does. Oh,
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
It's probably gonna suck then because I don't like Terraforming Mars.
I like Terraforming Mars.
Terraforming Mars is all right. It's not great.
But what about all the expansions?
I like all the expansions. I like the fact that I don't own them.
I do.
This is Jerry. Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Next week we'll be talking about other things. Follow us on Twitter. Thank you.
That's genuinely what you hope for in another podcast. We're going to repeat everything word for word.
Yes.
I dictate everything we say so that we can repeat it the next podcast.
Please.
Done and done.
Nice.
I'm Gabby.
But it's Jerry.
Oh, wait. Enrique, I've got your mic turned down. Try it one more time. Jerry told me to turn it down, so I turned it down.
cut him
Yeah,
off.
I know. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.